Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RSSDI IJDDC podcast. Why are we here? Well, if you haven't noticed, the latest edition is out for IJDDC. And here's what you should pick to read. And that is why we are using this podcast to share that information with you straight from the expert's mouth. We are really thankful to Dr. Rajiv Chawla, sir, who is our editor in chief for IJDDC, who has facilitated this entire podcast. And a big thank you to Rashi, Adarsh, Shaurya, all of them for having put this together. So, without much ado, let me welcome our guest for today, who is none other than Dr. Alok Modi. Dr. Alok Modi is a senior physician, diabetologist, and a leader in AI technology. So, without much ado, let me welcome him. But before that, just a few words for him that he has sort of pioneered a lot of work in this field, leadership in AI and digital health, for example. He's the council member and head of the AI cell of the American College of Physicians India chapter and a certified American Board of Artificial Intelligence advanced course. He's also he has several certifications around that, several publications, awards and honors, also fellowships and recognitions. But in terms of professional engagements, he's also the treasurer of the Lipid Association of India, Maharashtra chapter. He's the secretary of the Association of Medical Consultants, executive committee member of the Medical Legal Cell of AMC, faculty at multiple national and international conferences. And without much ado, let's welcome him for talking about this very important publication that has now come into the RSSDI IJDDC latest edition, April to June 2026, and is available for all you RSSDI members absolutely free with just your login through the website. Welcome, Dr. Alok.
Thank you, Purvi. That was a very sweet and a kind introduction. Thank you for all those wonderful, kind words on your part. And whenever I meet Dr. Purvi, it's always a pleasure. And it gives me a lot of बोलते हैं ना कि अच्छे लोगों की संगत से you pick up a lot. I learn a lot from her. The kind of work she has done in diabetes and the kind of work she does in endocrinology is phenomenal and huge. She is a hallowed name in the field of medical research. And I can go on and on and on, but then that will break the protocol because I'm not the host today. And before we start again from my side, I would like to thank Rajiv Chawla sir, the editor-in-chief, who's more like a elder brother to us, who guides us very immensely. Dr. Anuj Maheshwari sir, who's the national president of RSSDI, and Rashi madam and all of you with the team of IJDDC for giving me this wonderful opportunity for this podcast. And before we go ahead, Dr. Purvi, I would also like to name and thank one special person, Dr. Harsh Hirani, who has worked with me throughout this whole thing. We have an author block of around 57 authors who have extensively worked upon this manuscript, but Dr. Harsh has also put in a lot of hard work and efforts, and I would like to remember him and thank him for his contributions at the same time.
Fantastic.
And
So,
over to you,
this
Dr.
just I had to cut you short because our audience still doesn't know what publication are we talking about. So this is none other than the RSSDI IJDDC position statement on embracing artificial intelligence responsibly in medical research and scientific publication. It's a consensus recommendation for authors, editors, as well as peer reviewers. How comprehensive can that be? So, Dr. Alok, let me start with my first question here. Why did you think of AI coming into medical research, and why did you think that this position statement was due?
Well, Dr. Purvi, see, the thing is this, I'll answer it like this. Uh, there was a time when we would drive bicycles, and today we are driving Mercedes and motorcycles because you have to keep in touch with the times. We used to watch black and white televisions and enjoy cricket matches, and today we are watching LEDs which are wafer thin. So why that upgrading comes? So when we were medical students and when we were just doing our MDs, we used to read and write a lot of publications and papers which were handwritten. They would be 15 days to 1 month, to actually come out with a sensible paper. Today, a lot of this clerical work is very intellectually, mark my words, very intellectually done by artificial intelligence, which is your generative AI or Gen AI. So, every time you hold something, like I always say, every marriage, even if you're marrying a girlfriend, comes with a sense of responsibility. You need to understand the limitations and ethics of a marriage. So, I believe shaking hands with artificial intelligence is like shaking hands with an intelligent, sentient human being. And that comes with a lot of responsibility. So, they're so capable and they're so wonderful. They can write your entire paper, and copying pasting them is not the way because we want to communicate our story, our research, our work, our thoughts, our experience. So some riders come, some responsible ethical rules and regulations come. And how do you strike the balance so that you can get the maximum mileage out of AI, so that you can do more research extensively and quickly, and at the same time, you don't copy paste. You don't just write what AI is saying. That is not your work. That's AI's work. So how do you strike that balance in an ethical manner and get the maximum productivity out of it was the purpose behind this statement. And that's why this is a position statement. I'm grateful to Rajiv Chawla, sir, because this sort of becomes a guideline for the entire South Asia Pacific area, which no such statement has come out, which can help further authors and reviewers to plan out their work.
Fabulous. I think you explained the entire initiative and why it was undertaken so well and simplified it for our audience. So what it's really keeping up with the times because whether we like it or not, AI has really percolated into our systems, and medical writing is no behind, publications is no behind. And if we can master the tool or tools rather to write something intelligently with less effort and put in more effort in the thinking part of it, I think it really serves our purpose. So, what AI, generative AI tools are we referring to over here?
See, generative AI, the term itself tells us it's basically generative. It generates content. So let's say, let's for example, I want to write a paper on diabetic kidney disease. So I will write the paper because I have a lot of information in my head. But then when generative AI does it, it's like Dr. Purvi writing an article on that, which will be a fantastic article. And if I were to write the article, it will be another a reasonably good article. But because we both are intelligent, sentient human beings, we have our own perspectives. So when we use Claude or Perplexity, or when we use Chat GPT or Manus or Grok, you pick up any Gen AI, they can generate content based on what prompts you give and what data they have in their system. So based on that, they can come out with a very intellectually sound, good article, which will cover the aspects of this particular issue with all the extensive research. Now, see, we have a limited set of knowledge, both of us, because we are very extensively reading and working in research. But AI tool has access to millions and millions and millions of textbook and knowledge for the last 20, 25 years. So the database is huge. So when it extracts information from there relevant to our needs, it creates a very high quality paper. Just we need to make it ethical and get it published. So that's why it's called generative AI.
That was well explained. So, what are the exactly the permitted as well as prohibited uses of AI in research publications?
So for example, let's say Dr. Purvi, you're the head of the department of an institution. So you want to write a paper on the same example, generative AI on diabetic kidney disease. I'm sure you will not collect all the data, do all the research and write the paper single-handedly. You will ask your registrars, your lecturers, your co-colleagues to help you in that initiative. So you'll work like a team. So everybody will contribute in different manners, including doing biostatistical research and etc. And then you sit and compile, and with your extreme intelligence and experience and knowledge, you will remove things which are not relevant and emphasize things which are relevant for a clinician who reads and can help the center of our ecosystem. The patient gets the maximum advantage of this paper. So and it really increases the academic knowledge of our colleagues and peers. So when you do that, you're doing all this hard work. It takes normally, let's say, around 15 days to a month. Now, when you replace this entire department And not only your department, we can replace all the departments of all the medical colleges in the country. One AI tool can do all that and give it you in less than 1 to 2 hours. So now, when you have your paper ready, this is a work creation of another sentient human being, which is a piece of technology. You can't just copy paste it and send it without proofreading it. So the advantages I just enumerated to you, you can do that. You can do biostatistics through AI. And at the same time, you can proofread it and make changes which you think should be highlighted and which should not be, because after all, it is your story, your experience when you're putting your name to it. So the ethics demand that we do not copy paste an AI tool. We use an AI tool as an assistant. It's like an additive intelligence or augmented intelligence, and not it should not be used to replace you. So that idea came to my mind because when I was appointed as one of the reviewers for IJDDC, I picked up papers where at the bottom it was even written like this, that ChatGPT does not take responsibility for the content of this article, which means the entire article was just copied and pasted, and naturally that article got rejected. So some guidelines have to be in place that you can use AI to its advantage, but you cannot misuse AI. So it's like this. You have an AK-47 in the house. You can kill mosquitoes, but then if you use AK-47 to kill mosquitoes, you're damaging your house. You get the idea. So that is how powerful AI is, but all the same time, it should not cause damage to the ecosystem.
Right. So, what about can AI be an author?
No, it cannot. You can be an author, I can be an author, our colleagues can be an author. AI is in actuality not a living human being, and the contents of AI are not based on their experience and their training and their education. So it's an assistant, it's an addition to your armamentarium. So labeling AI as an author is not ethically allowed, and that is what we are very clear in the position statement. You should acknowledge and deliberate and declare, I have used AI for different aspects to do research, to write, to do the statistics, to analyze, etc., etc. But you cannot call AI as a co-author because you're sort of symphonying of your responsibilities to as of today, not a live human being who's formally trained.
So, before this RSSDI IJDDC position statement, do we have any Indian guidelines with respect to that? I know ICMR does, but do we have any other guidelines as well?
No, we don't have, and that's the reason we should give a big shout out and a big thank you to first Rajiv Chawla, sir, the editor in chief, Dr. Anuj Maheshwari, the national president, and all of you, the National Executive Council of RSSDI, Dr. Rakesh Parekh, our esteemed secretary, and everybody whom I have not named, and I apologize for that, who have really taken a lot of pains. And I know Dr. Manoj Chawla was very much part of the discussion and he played a very active role. So we should be grateful to all of them. And you yourself, Dr. Purvi, for taking this wonderful initiative and framing these guidelines, because this will act as a roadmap. It will act as a guiding light for future authors and reviewers to work in an ethical line.
Absolutely. I think I did feel that gap, and I was really thankful. We have great leadership in RSSDI, starting right from Dr. Anuj Maheshwari, sir. And, it's all futuristic, it's keeping up with the times. But, that brings me to an important question, that what are the core principles of AI use in medical research and publications? Because I think this will define how we actually use it. The tools and other things are easy to master with workshops and training from all you experts. But what are the core principles or core what is the core of using this AI in medical?
We sort of, went through a lot of reputed journals, guidelines like Nature, NEJM. There is an AI journal of NEJM. It deals only with AI. We read some wonderful editorials written by one of the editors, and he said something very beautiful. He said, if we were to cut down AI totally, we would be discouraging AI used in statistics, which is now the standard of care, because AI statistics can give predictive analysis, which current statistical tools can't give. Second, AI, when you're using AI, you can actually look into the research done by other countries in their languages, which you can't if you're not aware of those languages. You can expand the course of your research, which you cannot with your limited resources. So when we went through all this, we realized that there is a strong shout out for the use of AI, but in a responsible manner. So we did couple of things and we thought these are the primary verticals. One, the person who's writing the article. the person who's reviewing the article and the person who's the editor for this article should be accountable. So there is a human accountability and not a technology accountability. Then it's very important that we are transparent. So there's nothing wrong in using AI, but one should be outright forthright and saying, yes, I used AI and for what purpose? Did I use it to do research? Did I use it to write the manuscript? Did I use it to do statistical analysis? Did I use it to do review? Did I use it to edit the article? Then we need to be sure that the data that we are writing, that we are pushing forward, is integral and in an ethical manner. So the data integrity should be in place. We cannot forge data with AI. We know AI is known to create false data and can create false analytics and can sort of, give hallucination and misguide you on a pathway which seems very realistic. So we should make sure that the data that is presented is not AI generated, it is original, it is integral and authentic. We should not forget that because of AI, we cannot bypass the ethical guidelines, So when there is an editorial board and we have the guidelines which are there for the ethical reasons and responsibilities, that should be in place. Very important, as per the current DPDP Act and other things, patient confidentiality should be maintained. We cannot reveal the identity of the patient in any way, and we should also respect the individual guidelines of the journal, whatever the publisher guidelines are there. So these are the principles on which we designed this statement.
Fabulous. Now, again, you have an entire subsection on editorial responsibilities. If you can quickly elaborate on that.
Uh, See, the editorial responsibilities are huge, and it is very important that the editorial responsibilities are taken care of. But see, what happens is we cannot hold the editor in chief or a single editor to take the entire brunt. So it's an editorial team. So I think what's important is that the AI tool usage should be shared across the editorial team. They should all be trained for it, and they should be given the right responsibility, and they should be given the right methods by which they can use. So it has to be shared across. Then the editors should ensure that the guidelines are followed. So if there is any misuse of AI, they should pick it up. If there is a fabrication, they should pick it up. If there is a breach of the patient confidentiality, which I think is most important, they should pick it up. And they should also know that this entire manuscript is not algorithm written. It should not be pushing the algorithm and not humanistic science. So these are the editorial responsibilities which we thought are important, and we have highlighted those.
So I know there is also this entire section on misconduct investigation, analysis, or process. Uh, that's very interesting because most manuscripts will not give that guidance. It's left to internal protocols, but this has widely been published. Your thoughts on that?
No, I feel there's always a legal system in place in any good country. That does not mean that the country has criminals. So, but then it ensures that people stay on the right side of the law. So, the editorial board has a huge set of responsibilities. So, a conduction system has to be in place. So, in case there is a misconduct, what we have suggested is it should be declared that AI has been misused over here. It should be escalated to the right authorities and the right positions, maybe to the editor in chief. It should be also communicated to the author that you should not do this and you should correct yourself. Then there are certain guidelines which are written on my code. So if there is a misconduct of the guidelines by code, that should be highlighted. And then the author should be given a chance to either retract the work or correct the work or accept responsibility. And then finally, it's up to the editorial board to either remove the author from the system permanently or bar him or take disciplinary action as per the case on a case-to-case basis.
Great. I think you've covered a lot of this entire position statement, but there's an important piece still missing. And many of our, RSSTI members will love to listen to that because a lot of them are our peer reviewers for the journal and for other journals. And, they often wonder, can we use AI for reviewing the article that has been shared? So what are the principles around that, or what is the guidance around peer reviewers using AI?
Fantastic. That's a fantastic question because it's a very practical question that we all face. So, see, the thing is, let's say, Dr. Purvi, your article comes to me and I'm reviewing it. The moment I load it into a generative AI system, I'm exposing an original work to the public space, which is definitely not acceptable. So, suppose I were to upload it to a space which is restricted to the journal. So that doesn't, breach confidentiality. So it is important that you buy the enterprise version of an AI tool, which ensures that the server is dedicated to a journal only and it is not exposed to other readers of that AI tool. At the same time, as per the DPDP guideline, that server should be based in India because this data should not leave the shores of the country. So this is possible when you buy the enterprise version of certain AI tools like Claude, Anthropic, and this is what I'm very grateful to the entire RSSGI team, including Rajiv Chawla sir, who's highly interested in taking this initiative. So once that is in place, then you can, of course, the editors and the reviewers can use the AI tools to review and respect the integrity of the author. Just another point I would like to make because we are running, I think, short of time. One is that the statistics. Now, when you're doing statistics through AI, it becomes very difficult for a reviewer to use his mental machinery and mental arithmetics to see whether the statistics are right and whether these statistics are explainable and applicable in clinical practice. That is possible when you use an AI tool, and there's something called as SHAP. So AI statistics can actually give you an explainable AI. They can walk you through the steps of statistics and you can find out where things have gone wrong, especially when the authors have used biostatistics through AI to publish their work. So these are all the areas which can be used by a reviewer in a very pragmatic manner when you use AI in a responsible manner as per the guidelines. I've just touched upon the topics, and also you have to make sure that the data doesn't get breached. It should not get lost or there should not be any malware. This is possible when you take these precautions that we have already implemented in RSSDI and that we can ensure data privacy and security.
Fabulous. That brings me to my last question. What else can we look forward to?
We're looking forward to many more such projects in the future, taking it to the next step. I would say that quantum physics is coming in. I've just published a paper in the International Journal of Diabetes and Technology where we are discussing quantum physics. We are going to be looking at RSSDI AI toolkits meant for everybody. We're looking at training modules with you, Dr. Purvi, taking charge of that, workshops with you in the picture and helping us go through it. We conducted a fantastic program, DTech, we just got over last week, Dr. Purvi, under your and Dr. Manoj's leadership, and of course the grandmaster of everything, Banshi Sadhu sir. So that was fantastic, and I think I don't have to elaborate. Everybody singing praises of the way you guys have conducted the program. So those workshops, AI tools, CME programs is the way forward, and that can help the early researchers, early career physicians, and so many of us get AI into our system in an ethical manner.
I think this was one of the most important and forward-looking discussions that we've had in the recent, uh, time duration. And I think this is going to go a long way. So once again, while I thank you very much for your time and, of course, effort, I will also thank Dr. Rajiv Chawla, sir, and the entire team of IJDDC, also Dr. Anuj Maheshwari, sir, and the entire core committee as well as the executive committee of RSSDI. And I would like to uh, give all you viewers another message that RSSDI members have free access to the entire journal with such precious information in there. So do access it, visit the RSSDI website, log in using your credentials, and get your hands on all these articles right away. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Purvi. Thanks everybody for this wonderful opportunity. Wish you all the very best.
Thank you. Thank you so much.